Pilot Pete and Kelley are back together. Grocery Store Joe shades Kira on Twitter, and we have a Susie and Clayton update. We are here to get into all of the biggest Bachelor Nation headlines of the week, but before we do that, if you guys are new here, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with Blakely McHugh and Kayla Thompson. And how are you guys doing on this Friday, and which story are you most excited to get into?
Honestly, I'm exhausted. I'm ready for it to be the weekend. I'm ready to go to bed and take like a 12-hour sleep. That's where I'm at on this Friday. As for favorite story, I think I'm most excited to talk about Kira only because I feel like I have lots of things to say.
Okay.
Yes, I have to agree. Blakely, we're just like here this week. I don't know what it is. We're like besties
I love
right
that
now.
for us.
Like, I love that for us. I'm so tired, like so tired this week. But I think it's just because like I'm personally traveling. I think Blakely, you are too.
Yeah.
So again, twins.
Yep.
Yeah, traveling this week. So I'm like on the road with my equipment and all this stuff to like, you know, film and everything with you guys. And so a little tired, but I am excited about this panel because I also have a lot to say about the Kira stuff, or maybe just kind of an interesting perspective about it.
Okay, well, let's get into it.
Excited.
As usual, I have some inside scoop and tea on a lot of these stories, so I want to hear what your opinions are because I am ready to hit you guys with everything you need to know in Bachelor Nation of the week. Starting off with
Right.
Pilot Pete and Kelley. Now, they are officially back together. Peter and Kelley reunited a few months ago, and their relationship has progressed slowly over the summer, the source shares with E! News. They are committed to each other and are back together, and the insider notes that Pete was the one who initiated the reunion, and from there, Kelley couldn't deny the chemistry, and it's easier the second time around, referring to their split 2 years ago. It's less pressure this time around, and they have been taking it slow. They are currently doing long distance, but have been traveling together, and they've made it a point, and they made it an effort to kind of meet up and keep this relationship going. So this is interesting. I think we've kind of known about this. They first got spotted together at like a Cubs game almost 2 months ago. So I think a lot of us knew that they were rekindling. We saw them at Tyler Cameron's foundation. They were dancing. I think it's just like whatever makes people happy. My only thing is just like, you don't want to go backwards. Like, I like to hear that it's different this time around, and like, what do I know? But I don't know. I just feel like getting back with an ex, especially when it ended on such messy terms, is just kind of icky to me. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, Zach, back when we heard about their outing at the Cubs game, I remember we were like speculating what was going on. I'm pretty sure like we both thought it was just a PR move, that there was nothing going on there. So it's kind of interesting to see kind of the development now that maybe that was this, maybe at that moment there was nothing and that was the start of something. I just don't understand, you know, like one of Kelley's biggest things was that Peter was just almost not intelligent enough for her. He was intelligent when it came to flying planes and like what he knew, but she couldn't have overall intelligent conversations with him. And how does that change? I mean, how does somebody just all of a sudden become more intelligent for you?
Life
Like that was her, that was
experience?
in 2 years though?
I mean, maybe he grew up a little bit and, you know, he was more boyish and single and now he's like a man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming that he had to grow up and, you know, I don't want to say grow up hair. Like, that's ridiculous. But I think that he, like, had to kind of man up a little bit in order for her to take him back to begin with. Like, she's not going to take him back where she left him.
And maybe he was also, like, riding the high of...
The Bachelor.
Yeah, he was, thank you. He was riding the high of The Bachelor. You know, he's kind of like, you know, he's got all this attention. You can kind of be a little bit more... I don't want to F-boy, but, you know, when you're getting all this attention and people are messaging you, whatever, I'm not saying any of that happened behind it, but it's a little bit easier to not have to be so mature and so responsible when you're just, everything's kind of being given to you and thrown at you.
What's your take, Kayla?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of with what you initially said, Zach. I feel like the going backwards thing, you're kind of just like, I mean, this is what the third time he's gone back, like backwards. If we're, if, you know, we're gonna look at it from the season, pattern. He has a pattern of just recycling over and over and kind of like retracting or like trying over, and it's just like yeah, it's like he's very, and I don't know, from his season, Pete is very much, yeah, indecisive, but I think it's like he's very unsure of himself. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is that's kind of like
Hmm.
a fruit of that root issue, right? Of just like, he kind of will just like, yeah, recycle the same relationship. And I agree with Blakely. It's like, what really changed? Like, you broke up with her before what, Final Four, like Final Six? You broke up with her on your season. Then you dated 3 other people, went back to Hannah, now you're back to her. And I think it's like, for me, I'm like, Pete is probably just like they were around each other for that Cubs game. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, this is familiar. We were around each other recently. We were kind of PRing it up. And now it's like, oh, wait a minute. I still kind of feel some chemistry. So I think it's just that. I don't think it's going to really last very long. If it does, God bless. But I don't
Okay.
really
Yeah.
think it's going to be, I don't really see it like long term. I think Pete really should just keep being single till he like really like,
And
you
he
know what I'm saying?
almost went
Just
on
really gets
Paradise this
himself
summer
fully. See that? It's
together.
like you were about to go on Paradise, which is nothing wrong going Paradise, but it's like, I don't know. I think he just needs to
Uh,
stay in the wings, stay kind of, you see what I'm saying? Like, stay
Mm-hmm.
at
out of
least
the
maybe this
spotlight
time
a
they can
little.
have a redemption to their ending, at least. Because if they don't last,
Mm.
maybe it's they had a rekindling, they tried, it didn't work, and now we're on good terms, and at least we can end things on good
Yeah.
terms. If
And
that's
they
where it
Yeah.
don't owe
goes.
us they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us an explanation. Like their season was so long ago. Peter stopped doing his podcast, which is kind of a place maybe he would open
Oh.
up. If Kelley and Peter wanted to kind of open up about their rekindling on a podcast whenever they're ready, I think that would maybe help us understand like how they got back together and what changes he's made. But from an outside looking in, we're obviously a little skeptical. But at the end of the day, if it makes them happy, good for them, and maybe we'll hear from them and maybe we won't. We all know how PR works, and this statement was, just the beginning. Let's move on to our next topic. Tino from Rachel and Gabby's season, he has delayed going on the Viall Files. So he was originally supposed to go on Nick Viall's podcast with our lovely co-host Allison this week to share his full side of the story in regards to the Rachel breakup, because clearly he was fumbling over his words after the final rose. He was not able to speak or kind of articulate things, and there was a lot of questions left unanswered. Rachel had a full week of press interviews, so I think a lot of people were just excited to hear Tino's side of the story. Obviously, he cheated from what we know, so a lot of us are very angry at him, but we were still open to hearing this. But Nick shared on the podcast that he postponed the interview to focus on his mental health. And,
Mm.
Nick is still hopeful it's going to happen soon, but he just doesn't know when. So it could happen next
Hmm.
week. It could happen next month. It could happen in 6 months. I
Yeah.
want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? Kayla, why don't you start?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think when I saw that, I was like, I think that's good. I think Tino should take time to, make sure he's all right mentally, because like I was
Mm-hmm.
saying with you guys before, like I really felt like they just put him through the ringer on that after the final rose. Even
Mm-hmm.
before, like
They did.
at the safe house thing, like they put him through it, and like you could see he just looked sick up there. Like he just looked
Mm.
bad. And yes, he cheated, but does that mean we can like berate a human being to the point of like almost, he
Shunning
like he was
them.
about to have a breakdown up there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like no, we shouldn't. So like I think Tino being like, "Yo, I can't talk about that right now. I need to take a second and regroup and just like maybe even just get away from it and not think about it for a minute." I think is fine. And I
Mm.
also feel like I even felt like rehashing why he did it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's like we can rehash why he cheated on her or whatever, but it's like, it's not going to excuse it. So why are we going to, you know what I'm saying? So I can see Tino just
Yeah.
being like, I don't even want to talk about it right now, because it's like, what's the point? It's not going to make it any
Yeah.
better, because I kept trying to explain before and it doesn't go anywhere because it's not meant to. So I understand him just being like, yo, I just need a sec. I'll maybe
Mm-hmm.
come through at some point, but just give me a minute, because that was a lot.
It
So,
was.
It
but
was
Blakely,
a
what do you
lot.
think?
Yeah, I think the exact same thing as you, Kayla, about when he was there. I just felt like he had absolutely nobody in his corner. And when are you, it's just such not a normal thing to have even an audience booing you, Like, yes, he made a mistake, but we all make mistakes. We don't need to be humiliated on national television. And, the whole thing was just, it felt really downright wrong to me. So I get that he probably thinks like at this point, no matter what he says, he's going to receive like, so much backlash from it, and like he probably just doesn't even want to deal with that right now. But the one thing that I do think is good about going on Nick's podcast is I feel like Nick does a really good job of balancing being in your corner but also holding you accountable. So like I could see him kind of guiding Tino in a sense of like, even I think that Nick did a video like, here's where Tino went wrong and what he was and what he was saying, So I feel like he could kind of guide Tino and be like, here's why she wasn't understanding you, or this is what you should have said. And then I feel like we actually may connect with Tino on a more human level at the moment, because right now we're just seeing him fumble and fumble and fumble. There's no connection. There's no empathy. There's no sympathy for him at the moment for what he did, because he is not using the correct words of how he should. And I think that actually it could be really beneficial for him going on Nick's podcast. I see him at a human level, but there's a lot of people who are really, really angry and mad and like hatred towards him. And I think that there would be an element where people might connect with him on a more human level and be like, okay, you know what? We all make mistakes. Just because you want to go on a show and just because you go on a show and you're putting yourself in the public eye doesn't mean that you're opening up yourself to be literally berated, humiliated, and everything that ABC did to him and how he's been treated. Realistically, he didn't kill somebody. He didn't, he kissed another person. Maybe there was more, which is wrong. Yes. But like in the rule book of wrongdoings, like let's turn our hatred towards somebody else who deserves it.
And, I do agree. I think he'll do great when he is ready to go on Nick's podcast. Like you brought up good points, Blakely, like Nick will be able to hold him accountable as well as, giving him the opportunity to hear him out. And we want to hear him out. So I agree with both of you guys. I think he does need a little bit more time to process everything that happened. It was exhausting, but I also think that he should kind of just get on with it sooner than later so he can actually move on. Because otherwise he's going to be dreading this interview, So it's almost just like, I think 3 weeks would be a really good time. But then again, we don't know what he's in therapy. His family, like, he's gone through a lot. So whenever he's ready, like, don't feel rushed. But, like, I mean, think about what Nate and Michelle, like, Nate just did an interview. It brought up all this drama. And now Michelle's clapping back. That was, like, months after their breakup. So, I don't know. Kayla, do you have, like, a final prediction on when he's going to do it?
I think that 3 weeks is pretty solid. But I do feel like everyone's level of, healing in terms of just the time it takes is different. And so we might say 3 weeks, but he might be like, I need 4 months, Or he might be like, I just needed a week. I just needed a week or two from filming, so.
Yeah, I think that he won't even do it. Yeah, because I don't know why, but I've never gotten the vibe from him that he wants to be famous, that he wants this clout. There's no way that in any world, I mean, I don't think that he wants to be included now in Bachelor Nation. I mean, we've got the sign, F Tino from the other Bachelor guys. He's not going to be invited. You know what I mean? So like at this point, might as well just slip into the shadows if you're not like, unless you're somehow trying to capitalize on this. But I don't know that I see that.
The fact that Nick announced it, he'll do it, and we'll just, whenever he's ready, and we kind of all gave our opinions, and I think we're getting Jason A on Nick's podcast this week or next week, so that could be interesting. I know Kayla was a big Jason A fan, so we'll talk about that interview when it comes out, and we all listen to it. Let's get into our Susie and Clayton update, because this breakup shocked everybody last week in Bachelor Nation. And I feel like once Paradise started, we all kind of just forgot that they broke up. But Susie actually posted a TikTok. She said, "Me to every self-care ritual I've picked up this week." She wrote in a TikTok with herself sporting a face mask and mouthing the audio, "You better fix my entire life, you little shit." So it seems like she's just kind of vibing, and Clayton actually has moved to Arizona. He posted, he moved, and then Susie, I actually got in touch with her, guys. It took her about 2 days to respond to me. Obviously, her phone was blowing up, and she basically told me, she didn't mention anything about Clayton, I didn't really ask. It was really just like, what's up? She said that she's no longer moving to LA. I think that, she
Oh,
was originally going to move there because Clayton really wanted to move to Arizona. So I think that was just kind of like the compromise since they were
Mm.
planning on staying together.
got
So
it.
now she's just thinking of maybe moving to New York City, but she's spending time with family in Virginia
Mm.
right now. And she's just seeing where life takes her. She seems to be in pretty good spirits. Like I said, I didn't want to pry too much, so I don't really know all of that. But what do you guys think about this? Because it kind of seems like, this breakup it just happened so fast.
It
Yeah.
felt like it happened out of nowhere. I mean, even when they
Yeah.
were talking
They
to
were
you,
in
Zach,
Bali.
everybody was speculating that they were breaking up. They talked to you and said, no, just because
Hmm.
we're going to different states. But I mean, I guess we need to see the signs when we see them, right? We saw it with Michelle and Nate, and they were like, no. And then we are like, hey, we're going to believe them. I believed them. And then they ended up breaking things off. Like, maybe we just need to read the signs and not listen to what they're telling us. But I was surprised only because, too, and I know that Susie has posted on social media before being like, social media is a highlight reel. Like, it's not a testament to what our actual life is like. But I feel like up until the breakup, she was posting, funny TikToks of them together doing the trends or
Yeah.
doing sweet moments.
To
So
like
it
the day
totally
of.
like,
Hmm.
yes. So I was just like, if this is something that was coming, I don't know.
It just
Yeah.
happened so
I
fast. Like
feel
literally
where,
like a
yeah.
week ago they're in
Mm.
Bali. 3 days before they're posting funny TikToks. Now they broke up and now they're literally like moved on so quickly. It seems like, from the fact that he was
Yeah.
just like, peace.
No,
It's
yeah,
like all in a
I
few
feel where
days.
Blakely is like, I feel where Blakely is alluding to kind of like what's really going on, I think there is a part of it where, and I don't mean to shade anybody, but it's just like there is a part of it where you feel the need to keep up the appearances,
Hmm.
and social media, and just kind of being like, this is what, I don't know, this is what we do, this is how we make money, or this is how we keep our level of, I don't want to say clout because everyone, that's a negative kind of connotation to it, but um
They had
yeah,
partnerships.
so
They had brand
yeah,
partnerships that they posted together up until
it's
a week before the
business,
breakup.
it's business. So I understand to an extent, kind of like, it's interesting though. I feel like with this breakup thing, I've known or understood more of Susie. I feel like I've gotten more of what Susie is thinking, or like
Feels and not
got more
Clayton.
from her than Clayton. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
even
but
though they did a
nobody
joint
likes Clayton.
post, it
Everybody
felt
likes
very
Susie.
much. Don't
So
say
they want to
that,
hear from Susie.
Blakely. Yeah.
No, I
That's
think
fair.
Susie's just being
I'm
a
not
little
Um,
saying
bit more open about it and just like
yeah,
like I feel like she was the
yeah,
one that posted that caption. Obviously, I've kind of talked to
right,
her, so I'm able to share with you guys a little bit how she's at, but I still don't know
yeah,
exactly how she's doing. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know.
Okay, let me rephrase. I don't think nobody doesn't like Clayton. I just think that everybody loves Susie, and Susie is the person in the relationship.
So I guess to kind of, round this up, do you guys think it was a mutual decision? Do you think it was Susie? Do you think it was Clayton? Like, how do you think it ultimately ended?
I think it was probably a mutual decision. Like they both came to an agreement that something wasn't working. I think maybe that it was led by Susie, though. For some reason, that's what
Mm,
my intuition is telling me.
yeah. That's how I feel too. That's how I feel too. I think, it felt like
We're back
from the
on,
beginning
Kayla.
that, I know we always,
Y'all are
I
two
felt like
peas in a
from the
pod.
beginning, I felt like from the beginning with Clayton and Susie, it felt like Susie was like, all right, let's get back together. I don't know. It just felt like that to me. It just felt like, sure, like I like him. So I can see it being her being like, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work. But I think Clayton was probably like, yeah, that's fair. And I need to do this, and we don't, I want to do this, you want to do that, I want to move to
Hmm.
Arizona. You're like, okay, fair. I guess I'll move to LA. But seems like even if she's bringing up New York, I mean, first I have to say, I don't know why, but I could totally see her being in New York and being a part of like the Bachelor New York squad. I think that would be like, I don't
Hmm.
know. I find those guys like just so cool. But yeah, I think it was probably a mutual thing, and not an easy
For
decision
sure.
either. But yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I truly believe that they're leaving on good terms and that they will be friendly. And, maybe they'll give us more updates. Susie loves posting on social media. So I think that's maybe why some fans felt more connected to her. But I think it was mutual. And, we're wishing them both the best. Let's get into our last story. This one's kind of fun, but it's also kind of scandalous. Grocery store Joe shaded Kira on Twitter, and fans are outraged. Now, we all watched Bachelor in Paradise this week. It's safe to say that Kira got the villain edit. There was the bum, bum, bum music as she walked down the stairs. Now, clearly she did get pretty drunk on the first episode, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning. Paradise will be back next week, but Grocery Store Joe actually tweeted, "Glad to know Kira joined Bachelor in Paradise for OnlyFans, not for Instagram followers," which really set off Bachelor Nation Twitter. Now, the reason I guess he said that is because Kira made multiple references to the Boom Boom Room, and Kira has been getting a lot of flack online. I think she's the only one that kind of got a controversial edit. Everybody else kind of seemed to be riding. She was like that girl. Most people are just kind of like, what's going on? Aren't you a doctor? Didn't you go to Harvard? Like, why are you getting drunk? So she's kind of getting a little bit of backlash right now. So what do you guys think about the Grocery Store Joe tweet? And what do you think about, Kira?
You start, B.
Kayla, you go first.
No.
Okay. Oh, let me choose my words carefully here. Do I think Grocery Store Joe should have tweeted that? No. Do I think that Kira, there's nothing wrong with being promiscuous? But do I love that she went on Bachelor in Paradise and she was making references to being a doctor and how she can, give people her boobs as pills to fix them, and how many times she referenced the Boom Boom Room and that's all that she's here for. I didn't love that. It was a little icky to me. So I'm not going to go as far as to say that she came on only for OnlyFans and, whatever.
Oh my God.
But I see where Joe's head is at.
I think it was like a dry, sarcastic joke that would have been funny if it was like one of her close friends that said it. But I think because it came from like Joe, who's just like,
and a man,
a white male, a Bachelor Nation favorite. He has a podcast. He obviously has a lot to say. I think it kind of just rubbed Kira the wrong way, and like rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Cassidy, she's a close friend of Kira. She was going, in at her. Yeah, it wasn't nice. Yeah. It was a poor taste joke, but it was like dry sarcasm. So, like I said, it would have been funnier if it was coming from someone else that wasn't Joe. And I also think that like she should be allowed to like get drunk and have fun just because she is
1000%. Yeah,
Totally.
But if people are saying you can't get drunk and have fun because you're a doctor, they first off, they don't know doctors and they don't know nurses and they don't know healthcare workers. And second off, like, we're all human. Right? She's on the freaking beach. She's in Bachelor in Paradise. Okay, she can get drunk. That I think is a stupid thing that people are giving her a hard time for. I just don't love the way that she's portraying herself on Bachelor in Paradise. That's the only thing that's rubbed me the wrong way. Not that she's getting drunk. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting to go to the Boom Boom Room. Okay, but we could tone it down just a tad. I don't know. Kayla, did I give you enough time?
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yes, you gave me plenty of time. Yes,
okay,
you gave me
Kayla,
plenty of time, both of you. Okay, so first, I think that Bachelor Nation is very quick to cancel somebody. They're very quick to judge. They're very quick to bring somebody off a pedestal that they put them on and drag them off of it. And I think Joe is like, he's done everything right. He's like kind of the golden boy-ish of the franchise. He's engaged to certain, not really people. That. I don't know, just to some people. You can't. You're not like in the common.
Zach, I think you're on an island.
You don't count.
Yeah,
you don't count.
Okay.
You're like in it. Okay, but no, I'm just. My point is that I think that sometimes people look for reasons to like be like, oh, what'd you say? Yeah, see, yeah, you're not. You're wrong. And it's like, obviously, that was like a stupid joke that he was making. I think the tweet was like a joke that I'm like, Joe, I saw it live, like on my phone. I was like, Joe, really? Like, that's so stupid.
Are people mad is Joe getting heat for it?
People are upset.
Joe's getting a lot of heat for it.
Got it.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of heat on Twitter.
Right. So that's why I'm saying that, because I'm just like, guys, everyone, I don't know. You could just read it and tell he's just joking. But it's also like, is it warranted? Yeah, kind of. Because Kira is definitely giving off that vibe that not like she wants to be on OnlyFans, but just like all of what Blakely said. When I wasn't
And what's wrong with
surprised that he said
OnlyFans?
that.
I was
See,
going to
and that's the
say,
other
she could be
thing.
making some
You
big
know
bucks
what?
over there.
That's the other thing that's interesting, y'all, and we don't even have to go deep into it because we could. But like, it's funny how people are like, "Oh, well, you're slut shaming," but then it's like if somebody says OnlyFans, then it's like, "Oh, it's a negative," and it's like, okay, these are two contrasting. You see what I'm saying? Like, what? I don't know. There's that, but I think
Good
that
PR
like
move.
my thing.
Continue. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like when it comes to how Kira was portraying herself on the beach, I was like, Kira, why you got to be that one? Like, come on. And I think that there's a way to be like herself and be her kind of like, I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm gonna go to the boom room if I want to. I'm gonna da 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 da. I'm gonna, it like cool, all good. But it's like, it felt a little forced sometimes for me. And I was like, okay, boo, it's really not all, it's okay. Like, we get it. Like, you can just relax. You don't have to like say all the lines they're giving you or like I just wanted her to kind of like just chill. And I wasn't mad at her. And even in the situation with Romeo and Jill, I felt like Jill was doing too much as well. And it was just like a lot. So it's not to like come at Kira at all. It's just, I can see how somebody might say that about her, and it's like, it sucks, but well, Kira,
It's part of the show.
you were kind of like bugging out.
It's just part of the show. It's a TV show.
Yeah.
Only certain things are shown. There's storylines, there's editing. Obviously, she's responsible for her own behavior. And I think, part of going on the show is, fans having opinions. And a lot of times fans, especially with anonymous accounts, are really harsh and critical. I think we'll have to kind of see where the storyline unfolds with Kira. I have a feeling we're going to be having a similar conversation next week, maybe times two. And I also know that she will be going on. Yeah, I also know she will be going on the Talking It Out podcast with Brian and Mike next week. So I think that will be really good for her to kind of at least explain everything.
Absolutely.
I think that she should create an OnlyFans now and say, since Grocery Store Joe said I was only on the beach for this, here it is, you guys, make me that money. Then you control the narrative, and there you go. And now you make some more money off of Grocery Store Joe's like snubby tweet.
Yeah, I definitely think being self-deprecating and making fun of yourself and embracing, the backlash is the way to get through it, and just make fun of yourself. I think she's tweeted a few funny things where she's like, you guys can check her Twitter. She's tweeted like doctors can have fun too and stuff like that. But she also does need to know that she is representing her career in the medical field, and I don't know how many people watch this show and and take it seriously or not take it seriously. So we'll see what happens with her, and Paradise is just getting started, so I'm sure there will be so much more season. We're going to be talking about lots of other things, and it probably won't just be Kira. The drama is just getting started. But those are our top Bachelor Nation headlines for the week. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what your opinions are on Kelley and Peter, Tino, Susie, Clayton, Kira, and Grocery Store Joe. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell before you guys head out of here. I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with
Blakely McHugh
and Kayla Thompson. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.